this is a developing story that Donald Trump has essentially thrown every asset he has at D.C. and homelessness in general. The National Guard, the FBI, DEA are actively patrolling the streets like beat cops, and there are murmurs that he's trying to activate either the Army or the National Guard or both to start patrolling the streets to arrest homeless people and criminals.
Yeah, he said, the slums, as he calls them, and as a former slumlord, I think he would know a thing or two about that, but he wants to get rid of them. He wants this to be the nicest, most beautiful, presentable place on the planet so that he can impress everybody. The problem is, the problem he says exists doesn't actually exist. We're at a time right now where we see violent crime in Washington, D.C. First of all, it's down across the country. In D.C. alone, it's down 26%. Homicides are down by more than a dozen percent, so are burglaries. So crime in D.C. is hitting levels that we have not seen in our lifetimes. It's a safe place. But a report came out just a week or so ago, maybe, explaining a little bit of Donald Trump's obsession with crime in D.C. that doesn't exist. Big Balls. Did you see this?
Yeah, so Big Balls, the great Doge employee, the 18-year-old Big Balls commentator, and that's what he calls himself as his handle, was a lady friend of his was walking to the car, is my understanding, and she was roughed up, and he tried to intervene and got beat up. And so that is what has launched all of this. Elon Musk was tweeting about it. And again, that's how we make policy decisions now, is somebody tweets something. And then my understanding is he also was very upset on the way to a golf course that he saw homeless people as they were driving him around. And so that's my understanding were the nuclei of this obsession of his most recently.
Yeah, and obviously with these new cops and agents and possibly even the military patrolling the streets, it's created a police state. But I do think beneath all of this with the crime claims and whatnot that are totally false, what he wants to do to the homeless population is absolutely insane, because part of it is also talking about forced institutionalization. So basically round up the unhoused people in DC and stick them in the insane asylum. I mean, that's actually part of the plan that they have, is forced institutionalized. Oh my God, I mean, this is something that we did see, and I hate to bring up the comparison, but it's accurate, in Nazi Germany. That's what they did. And here we have it, written out from this administration. And this part of the story has just gone almost completely unnoticed by most people. They don't realize this is happening. And this has been out for several weeks prior to the occupied forces in D.C.
Well, and it's interesting because there's no funding for institutions. Famously in the 90s, a lot of mental institutions were shut down and they went to community-based treatment. And you can debate the success of that. But the thing that I saw as prosecutor time and time again for the truly mentally disabled, there was no place to send them. There wasn't room. There's no funding being made available for additional facilities or additional treatment care or anything like that. This is going to be jails and the for-profit prisons that his administration has invested so heavily in. And at the backdrop of all this, you can't make this up, he's walking around the top of the White House planning a $200 million ballroom.
I did see a meme where somebody said, where are you going to put the homeless people? And they said, oh, right here, and pointed at that giant, gaudy ballroom. But, and it's not just the for-profit prisons and things of that nature. It's the little tent cities that they create. Think of the Everglades Auschwitz. Things like that. That's where we will take these people so that Trump doesn't have to see you. It's not because you're posing a problem. If you were, we would actually do something to address it. We would put the funding there. We would get the mental health professionals as first responders to be able to handle mental health crises instead of sending, a gun-happy cop. But we don't want to address the real problem. We don't want to address the real causes of homelessness. Instead, we want them out of sight, out of mind. And if we have to lock you up in, the Everglades, if we have to lock you up in Core Civic, we're going to do it so Trump and the wealthy elite don't have to see the consequences of their policies every time they go to work.
Well, this has been something that right-wing media has been drumming on about for a long time. I mean, I know when I went to Portland a few years ago, I expected like a smoldering crater hellscape and was surprised to see businesses open and people milling about the city unmolested because if you watched conservative news media, it was a hellscape. And, certainly my
Burned
family.
to the ground, they said.
It was actively on fire for months. And that is what the viewers believe, is that the cities are overrun, that this plague and pestilence and disease, the likes of which we've never seen, which may be coming for other reasons, but certainly not the homeless people, which now we're going to have to activate the military. Truly a war on homelessness, and that's not what people meant when they said a war on homelessness.
Right, and this, as is always the case, will lead to tragedy. There is going to be some horrible story, maybe one, maybe 100, of these individuals being beaten or worse. Those videos are coming. Probably in the next few days, those videos will be here. And it will shock the country to see it, but Trump is not going to stop. This is the new plan. It's what he's doing.